Let's open up the mailbag. The first one relates to the New York Giants, who are now 0-3. KP for 3 says the Giants look like they didn't even belong on the field against an extremely banged-up 49ers team. Is Dave Gettleman, the GM of the team, on the hot seat, or does ownership have his back, knowing this was going to be a tough year to begin with? Charean, what do you think?
Well, I question a lot of things that Dave Gettleman's done, but I do like the hiring of Joe Judge. He's impressed me with everything he's done during the training camp, the build-up. He seemed like he had won over the players. Now, it hasn't gone right on the field. I get that. And Daniel Jones, to me, looked like he's regressed. He's ranked ahead of only Carson Wentz there. You got three of the 4 NFC East quarterbacks are among the 5 worst quarterbacks in the NFL so far, and Daniel Jones has just not looked good so far. So I do have some questions, obviously, about the way they're playing and the way they're losing. The 49ers had all those injuries yesterday, 31st in offense and tied for 12th in defense. But I think he has a right coach, and I think he's going to be given more time because of the fact that the weird offseason that they had and Joe Judge being his first season with this staff.
All right, I'll just say this before we move on to the next question. I don't like the idea of firing the GM and keeping the coach. They've had too many guys on different tracks, and that is a sign of dysfunction with any NFL team, because the new GM is instantly going to want to hire his own head coach. So either keep them both or get rid of them both, whatever they do after this year, and you shouldn't get rid of them both after this year. Another question from the PFT PM Posse. Does Arthur Blank regret not firing Dan Quinn more after the 28-3 Super Bowl loss, after the first half of last season, or after last season ended? Should he fire him now? I think that now what's gone on would create regret that he didn't fire Dan Quinn at the end of last season. I think that is the right time to do it, because there's no guarantee that an interim coach is going to make the situation any better. They've got 2 former head coaches on that staff working for Dan Quinn: Dirk Cutter, the offensive coordinator, who was the coach of the Buccaneers, and Raheem Morris, the defensive coordinator, who was the coach of the Buccaneers. The defense is horrendous. The offense isn't much better, especially when it's time to hold a lead. I don't know that you definitely make the team better, or that you even remotely make the team better by getting rid of Dan Quinn. I feel like in a year like this, where you have the benefit of not having to worry about fans who won't show up because they're not going to show up anyway for the most part, I think you just ride it out and you get the right coach, presumably an offensive head coach, after the season ends. All right. Real quick point before we move on to the Monday night game. Mike McCarthy, the Cowboys coach, said within the hour that he does not believe Tristan Hill had intent to injure Chris Carson. He was just simply trying to tackle him, and that was part of the tackling maneuver. I don't buy it. McCarthy's saying what he has to say. I think it's baloney. I think, you either trust what the people are saying or you trust your lying eyes, Charean. Does it change at all for you that McCarthy is defending Tristan Hill?
No. No, and I think he probably won over his locker room and won over Tristan Hill saying that. But anybody who watched that play, I don't think you can watch the play and not think it's a dirty play.
I don't know if I'm in the locker room. I don't know how I feel about it, because I don't want guys tackling me that way from other teams.
True.
And you're opening the door for that to happen.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.